I'm Ablin Singh, and I'm an intern with the Lexus and Company. And today I'm going to discuss the benefits and drawbacks of three farm laws. In September 2020, Ram Nath Kovind, President of India, has passed the assent to three agricultural bills, which were earlier passed by the Parliament. These three agriculture farm laws are Farmers Produce Trade and Commerce Act 2020, Farmers Agreement on Price Assurance and Farm Service Act 2020, Essential Commodities Amendment Act 2020. These farm laws have been highly criticized by the farmers, and they have called these new farm laws as corporate friendly and anti farmers. So let's see the implications of these laws and whether they are what are their benefits and what are their drawbacks. So moving on to the first farm law, which is Farmers Produce Trade and Commerce Act 2020. This has been enacted by the Government of India. It gives freedom to sell the agricultural produce anywhere in India, within mandis or outside. To promote e-commerce in agriculture, new platform, that is the electronic platform for sale and purchase of agriculture produce, has been established by the Government of India under this new act. Furthermore, there is a clause that if this act fails, then the government can intervene and take over the charge. So this was basically what exactly this act means. So now let's just move further on to the pros and cons of this act. So the pros of this act is that farmers are free to sell the produce anywhere in the country. And the second most important benefit is that the intermediators who used to earn money without performing any of the agricultural activities are being totally eradicated. However, this particular act has been criticized by the farmers, as 80% of the Indian population is comprised of small scale farmers, which hardly could produce and run their families. So they basically can't even produce that much of production of agriculture products with which they can sustain their families and all. And at this level they are talking about making it at such a high level, so I don't think this is applicable. Although moving on to the second one, the next act is the Farmers Empowerment and Protection Agreement on Price Assurance and Farm Services Act. This act is basically an amplified and improved version of the Contract Farming Act that has already been adopted by 20 states. This new act only shifts the benefit in favor of the farmers. It removes the complicated system of registration, filing for a license, deposits, and various other compliances in contract farming provisions in various states. So basically what they have done is they have with this act they have just made a uniform code which has to be followed all over the states whosoever adopts this act. So the pros of this act is that government has tried hard to save the farmers from the complicated mechanism, and it has made the redressal mechanism a bit simplified form for them. So moving on to the third one, which is Essential Commodities Amendment Act 2020. So the Essential Commodities Act has been modified for agriculture and food, including cereals, pulses, potatoes, onion, edible oils and oils. The modification says that the central government may regulate the supply of the above commodities only under extraordinary circumstances, which may include war, famine, extraordinary price rise, and natural calamities. The modifications lays down a transparent criticism on imposing or regulating stock limits, which is 100% increase in the retail price of the horticulture produce or 50% increase in the retail price of non-perishable agriculture food over the price prevailing in the preceding 12 months or average price of at least 5 years, which is lower. So, pros of this particular act is that due to the amendment, the sponsors shall be promoted to have contracts with the farmers to their full capacity, and the road blocks for effusive flow of the business activity have been moved without jeopardy the interest of farmers. Then we have cons. The major cons or the drawback of this is, so legislature has been highly criticized on this point by the farmers, as they suggest that first legislature or government promotes the amenity and then it provides for the remedies. One of the serious question that keeps on haunting is that why the unlimited stocks have been allowed to be kept. What an amenity will do with the stocks of farm products which are beyond their processing or exporting capacity. All these three laws related to farm or agriculture are covered by a few myths or the thoughts whatever the people are spreading or whatever they come across, and that is that they believe that under the contract farming, farmers will be dictated by the corporates and the farmer will not be able to fix price according to their free will. Furthermore, the new system will be a matter of concern for farmers. In case of dispute, big companies will have their say, and although these concerns are relevant enough. So, further concluding my conclusion to my topic is, the three acts are revolutionary if the government addresses the loopholes of these acts. The loopholes of these acts are quite concerning, and the government should discuss the same with the farmers to more effective and efficient way. The government should form a proper mechanism of contract farming so no farmer is exploited by the big greedy corporates to solve disputes between the farmers and the traders. The government should establish a different regulatory body rather than subdivisional manager. So this was all about my today's topic.